Assalamu alaikum. This is Megan Wyatt, founder of Wives of Jannah. I wanted to share with you a few recommendations that can help you in strengthening your relationship this year in 2021. And both of these pieces of advice aren't things that, well, they're not the pieces of advice that people often give. When we think of relationship advice, we think about things like building on communication, making time for each other, using I statements, focusing on intimacy and improving that area of your marriage. And all of these things are important. And there's a lot of really great marriage advice out there that can help you in your relationship. But there are two things that I think are really fundamental, that are foundational, if you will, that if you skip these two things, you're going to find it really difficult to implement all the other wonderful pieces of advice that are out there to strengthen your relationship, to deepen your connection with your spouse. And so the first piece of advice that I have for you is this: allow yourself to spend time in things that bring you joy, that light you up, that make you feel alive, that make you want to get out of bed in the morning, that utilizes your skills or your talents or your education or your training, just anything that you feel passionate about. And here's why this is so important. A lot of people look to their marriage, not intentionally, but look to their marriage to become the thing that will fulfill them, the thing that's going to make them feel amazing, the thing that's going to build their confidence, the thing that's going to bring them the most joy and love in their lives. And marriage is an important relationship. And of course, the goal is for it to bring love and joy and happiness into your life. But if you're putting a lot of pressure on your husband to sort of fill your cup every day, to make you feel alive, to make you feel, in touch with what you're excited about and what you're passionate about, to give you enough compliments to make you feel like you're worthy as an individual. If you're looking at your husband to offer variety in your life and adventure in your life, basically, if you're looking to him to fulfill needs that he can't fulfill, needs that are meant to be filled by other things, maybe other people, then you're putting pressure on your relationship that it cannot handle. You're putting pressure on your husband that eventually he'll cave under, and you're going to end up feeling really frustrated and depressed and down and unfulfilled because you've put so much emphasis on your marriage to fill your cup. Or rather, I should say, fill your cups, because I feel like we have more than one cup in our lives. We've got different parts of ourselves that need nurtured. And so if there's one thing that I've seen really help relationships and specifically help women through the years, it's when women take time for themselves to do things that are important for them, that are meaningful for them, that bring them joy, that connect them to their passion, things that aren't being done just for the family. And so serving your family is always important. Prioritizing your marriage, prioritizing your family, these are excellent goals. But you are the center of those goals. And so you have to also prioritize yourself and your well-being and your emotional well-being and your spiritual well-being. And one of the ways that you can do that is by making sure that there is time for you to invest in things that you love, that bring you to life, that bring out your energy, that bring you joy, that connects you to things that are meaningful for you. And this really is one of the most important goals that I've seen many women go through that has made a huge difference in how they felt in their relationship. Even if nothing else changed in their relationship, right? Their husband stayed the same, the problems that they're dealing with were the same. Her focusing on herself, her focusing on her passion, her launching that like hobby business, her starting that Instagram page where she can share all of her best recipes for things she loves to bake, her volunteering for an organization that she really loves, and the classes or the courses or the events or whatever it is it offers are things that are really good for her. By her stepping into the world and serving the world and connecting with the world and connecting with other people, she's nurturing really important parts of herself. And I would like to encourage you to do that. And especially right now with the ongoing pandemic situation where we're already cut off from so many things that we've relied on in the past for connection and for passion and for service, right? Things are closed. Things consistently keep closing down around the world. Gatherings aren't the same. We're not getting together, right? Everything is different. I feel like it's even more essential that you figure out what little parts of your day or your week and parts of your month can be dedicated for things that make you feel alive. Because if you don't feel alive, if you don't feel connected to the sides, the parts of yourself that are passionate and full of energy, then is it going to be a surprise that your relationship is going to be impacted by that? When you have individuals who are not living life and they're not connected to higher goals and inspiration, and they're, again, just feeling alive, right? Feeling energy, feeling joy, feeling motivated, the desire to do things and create things and learn new things, this movement, this energy, it's not going to be a surprise when the relationship feels stagnant and the couple's not doing very well. Two whole people, two passionate people that are in touch with things that bring them joy, make them feel alive. When those two people come together, right, they're able to share that spark and that energy, and it's going to have a positive impact on their relationship and then the family as a whole. But if you can think of someone whose energy's down, right, they're slumped shoulders, they're just kind of there, going through the motions every day, picking up more crumbs, making another meal, folding more laundry, watching stuff on YouTube, scrolling through Instagram, doing it again the next day and the next day and the next day, right? Oof, like I feel tired. I feel like I just got ready for a nap doing that, right? We have to nurture ourselves. And so for anyone who says, but my husband doesn't believe in me taking time for myself, or my husband says, oh, that I need to spend more time on the housework or on the kids or whatever it is, if you're dealing with that kind of like, you don't need to do other things kind of approach, the best advice I have for this is for you to simply present not all the logical reasons why you should carve out time to do things, right? Because frankly, this is not a conversation that you should be having. It's not, it's certainly not kind or respectful or loving to have a spouse that wants to block you from doing things that make you feel alive, right? We want to be in each other's lives and encourage each other to be our best selves. So, but what do you do if you're having that conversation, right? This is where your relationship is at. Maybe you feel like it's been one of your obstacles. So what I encourage women to do is simply talk about what brings them joy. We don't need to do this. You don't need to do that. There's no need for this. There's no reason for that. Other women don't do this. Other women do this, right? All of these kinds of comparison judgment comments. But being able to say, I understand that this is what nurtures my joy. This is what makes me a better person. This is what gives me energy to give back to the family. This is what recharges my spirit. It's so interesting too that a lot of times when women are dealing with a husband who keeps blocking them, that same husband is often the one, maybe pre-pandemic life, who goes out like every night and he's at the masjid and he's talking to brothers and he goes and plays soccer, he goes and plays basketball, and of course he goes to work each day and he has people he talks to. Like his life is really full of things that nurture him. But then he wants his wife to find her value and worth just at home. And being at home, again, emphasizing being a mother, being a wife, these are huge roles of importance, completely huge roles of importance, but they cannot fill your every cup. You need friends. You need interaction with other people. You need sisterhood, right? You too need gatherings. You too need to talk to people. You too need physical exertion and exercise and oxygen moving through your body, and not just chasing after your toddler around the house. You too need to feel alive. And so by focusing on these words like, but this brings me to life, this brings me joy, right? This brings me happiness. This makes me feel really good about myself. This is a conversation that really changes that tone, and I encourage you to have that. Now, the second piece of advice I have kind of naturally leads into this, and it is the best thing people can do for their relationship is to work on themselves and be committed to their own regimen of personal development. And there's a lot of different ways to focus on your own personal development. There is, within our spiritual tradition, of course, so many elements of personal development built in. So from how people conduct their salah to the amount of adhkar that they make, reflecting on the Quran, taking oneself to account, in dua or before sleep. Islam is already, builds for us self-awareness and awareness of our shortcomings and seeking forgiveness for our shortcomings. And the reflections, of course, that we are in need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we are flawed beings, that we're consistently needing his aid and guidance and all of these things. Islam already builds this environment for us. But sometimes we need a little bit more in order for when I say a little bit more, let me clarify what I mean. Sometimes we need a different approach, rather. We need to have a different kind of conversation in order for us to really start to look at ourselves, in order for us to really understand which parts of ourselves need to heal, which parts of ourselves we need to give some nurturing, where we need to forgive someone, where we need to develop our self-confidence, where we need to build up our self-esteem, what actions we need to take in order to feel that aliveness, what actions we need to take in order to feel significant in our lives, what new mindsets and beliefs that we need so that when we pray and when we make dua and when we come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have a healthy understanding of who our Lord really is. So the invitation for personal growth, the invitation for personal development, personal reflection, I cannot underscore how important this is for your relationship. And you will never hurt your relationship by becoming a more self-aware person, by understanding yourself, by understanding your fears, by understanding your insecurities, by understanding your limitations, and then actively working on those. Things can only get better when you're actively working on those, because it changes how you communicate. When you're able to move from just fighting over something to being able to say, I'm feeling anxious right now. I'm feeling worried about something right now. I'm feeling excited about something right now. So I'm not present, or my brain's going through X, Y, and Z. The more self-awareness you have, the better communicator you're going to be. Because when people say I need to work on communication, what's happening is that they don't even understand what happens when they talk. There's just all this emotional mudslinging going back and forth. But the more aware of yourself you are, the more in tune with yourself you are and your feelings and your thoughts and what you're focused on, well, naturally your communication patterns are going to change. But that work of focusing on yourself, of giving yourself a space, a regimen, a program, a book, a class, course, coaching, counseling, therapy, whatever it's going to be, to allow you the opportunity to sort of step out of yourself, see yourself from another angle, hear your experience from someone else's perspective. That is so valuable. And so both of these things together, nurturing things that bring you joy and bringing that into your life, working on yourself, inviting personal development into your life, those two things are going to enhance not just your relationship, but your life as a whole. And so in order to support you in doing that, I've got a number of different resources that I would like to take just a minute to tell you about. First of all, I do offer one-on-one relationship coaching for wives, and I also offer couples relationship coaching, and all of this is done online. I also have just general personal development coaching for anyone. So maybe it's not, yes, you'd like to focus on your marriage too, but it's not your primary goal. It's in there. It's one of your primary goals, maybe, right? Like you'd like to strengthen your relationship. You also want to work on your health. You also have a project you want to launch or a business you've been wanting to have take off. You also want to start a blog, for example. You want to repair your relationship with a sibling. There's a lot of different moving pieces. So of course, I'm here to support you with that as well. I do have online programs already pre-recorded for you in the Wives of Jannah digital library. And so what that means is I've created courses that when you purchase them, you can go through them at your own pace, on your own time, in your pajamas, sitting on your bed, wherever you want, and you can go through the course material. And so there isn't like a deadline for that. And so you'll find all of those programs at wivesofjenna.com/programs. And that's where you'll check out the digital library. You can also find details about coaching. I also am currently, I've currently launched a program called One Meaningful Life Builders. And the objective of this particular program is to invite you into a personal development space that has been designed focused on 3 areas of your life: faith, family, and finding fulfillment. So sort of all those things that I just talked about. The goal is to nurture your iman, your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and make that a goal. Also your relationships, of course, prioritizing those, not just your marriage, but all the important relationships in your life. If you have kids, your parents, your siblings, friends, and as it extends out for you of importance. And the last piece, which we talked about, finding fulfillment, which is the things that make you feel alive, the things that bring you joy, the things that you are doing that are for you, but also in service to the world. This is where we get to tap into your skills and your talents and your passions and your life experience. And we all get to benefit from that, inshallah. So the One Meaningful Life Builders program combines a pre-recorded personal development training program. So it's over 20 hours, guest speakers, where we put together a program to walk you through these 3 main areas. On top of that, I've got monthly live group coaching sessions. I've got monthly live guest interviews or discussions or presentations to keep you inspired and keep you fresh. We've also got a private Facebook group where you can come and converse and talk and dialogue about what you're working on, or a reflection that you have, or a question that you have. It is a unique space designed specifically for Muslims to have that Islamic personal development community. So that is also available for you right now, and that's at onemeaningfullife.com. And if you go to onemeaningfullife.com/trial, I've actually got an invitation where you can join for your first 30 days for just $5. So you can join and check out, start the program, tune into one of our live group coaching sessions, tune into live, you get everything, you get access to everything. And then hopefully you stick with us as a member. And this is sort of your self-care time. And so someone said something really beautiful today in our group coaching session that we had, where she said, like, this was something I was doing for myself. And there was another person who said, she's already completed the entire One Meaningful Life training course. She signed up a few months back, so don't worry, there's no rush. But she was saying it's one of the first times I've ever gone through an entire course. And I really, she was really grateful for having said yes to herself, and then going through the entire course and completing it and really benefiting from it, alhamdulillah. So when you think about yourself, right? When you think about you, what happens with a lot of women is that they like the idea, but they don't follow through. They like the idea, they save the post, or like, I'll come back to it. But why is it that we don't come back to it? And a lot of times it's because we feel like we as individuals aren't priorities. Like, working on myself isn't the most important thing in my life. Completing a personal development training course that'll nurture my faith, family, and fulfillment, well, that's not a priority in my life. So what are the priorities in your life? And that's a really important question. What is most important for you to live your best life, for you to live the life that you were made for? What are those priorities? How will you do that? And I can tell you from my own experience and from working with so many women now, it's been over 11 years of coaching women from all over the world, that transformation happens when you say yes to yourself, when you make time for yourself, when you believe that you are worthy of investing in yourself. And then you will get the immediate benefit, inshallah, from your relationship with your kids, with your spouse, with your family, how you feel about yourself. Because you're saying yes and you're putting yourself on that to-do list that you have. And if you want to be the best Muslim that you can be in this life, the best servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the best wife, the best parent, the best daughter, the best friend, you're going to have to take time to nurture yourself, your heart, your iman, and your own development, right? So we don't want to be the same people, when you were 22, you don't want to be the same person when you're 32, because a decade of your life has gone by, and there's new challenges, and there's new responsibilities, and there's new parts of life opening up. And in order to navigate these new challenges in this next new chapter, wherever you're at in your life, you're going to need new skills and new strengths and parts within yourself that need to come out. Within you are all the things that you need to lead your best life. but it begins with you saying yes to your own development. So whether that is the Wives of Jenna relationship courses, whether that is individual coaching, whether that is the One Meaningful Life Builders personal development community as available for you, all of these things, as you can tell, I'm really passionate about them because I know the value that comes when women, especially women, invest in themselves and invest in their own growth. And I've been able to witness those transformations and witness the development of strength and confidence and their voice, and being able to build a life that, is balanced by what I call this triad of success of faith and family and fulfillment, and where one of those isn't being cut off, that all three are present in your life. So wherever you are in the world, I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses you this year with ever increasing iman, with good health. And if you're ailing in any way, if you're sick in any way, if your health is struggling, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you shifa, may Allah grant you healing and access to doctors and medicine and the best resources and good care. I pray that in this year, despite the ups and downs that we are all going to go through, that this is a year where you make space for yourself and for the life that you want to live, the relationship that you want to impact, starting with your joy and your personal development. So take care. And of course, if you ever have any questions, you know how to reach me. You can comment below any of the videos. You can email me at info@wivesofjenna.com. And I always look forward to hearing from anyone who's in the Wives of Jenna community. Assalamu alaikum.